Welcome to the SRS segment. You were just saying something, Juan. You were saying you love the name SRS.
Oh, I love it. When I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
Simple retirement solutions. That's what we do. And then that made all the sense. And I started calling myself SRS specialist.
Yeah. I love it.
What is that? Simple retirement solution.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Well, hey, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about, if you don't know, Juan Franco is like the master of IULs. I mean, all you write is IULs, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you've tried all types. You've written them on all different types of leads too. So we'll get into that a little bit. What we're going to talk about today is your process, how you're producing at such a high level selling Index Universal Life, and then also what kind of mix of leads, because you're doing something. You're getting CRM leads. You're also doing some stuff on your own. But what you said to me is like, what you're doing, anyone can do. Anyone. It's so he's not going to. We're going to keep any secrets. He's going to talk to you about what he's doing, and hey, it's up to you if you do it, right?
Right.
So you and you started one. You used to be in person, and then you switched to virtual, right?
Right. I started just like anybody else. Final expense was my first pretty much 6 months. I was doing final expense, and then I transitioned into mortgage protection, and then was doing about 80% final expense, 20% mortgage, then 30% mortgage, and 40% mortgage, until I started doing a little bit more mortgage. And towards the end, I was doing a lot of mortgage protection, but I got better after I talked to Shadi.
Yeah, Shadi. Now, when did you make this switch to start selling IULs versus traditional mortgage protection products?
That was little by little. It was kind of like the IULE was the first thing that I was introduced to, which is Mutual of Omaha, and I was doing mortgage protection with that. I was doing a lot, and then when I was introduced to more of the regular IUL, where you design it for the people and then you put it max funded and then put extra money into it and all these things, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, how come I didn't have that? And then so, when you're 55 or above, then you're kind of like upset that you did not know that. Because you know that somebody at 20 years old don't have to pay hardly anything for an IUL and grow their money tremendously tax-free. And it was I was like, wow, I didn't know that. And then so I started investigating more, and because I was introduced to National Life Group, I basically, that was the company that I started kind of like researching, and then posting a lot of my videos on social media.
Okay.
So I started, TikTok. Yeah. I didn't even know what TikTok meant, by the way. So I was kind of like, I opened up a TikTok and I started doing videos that were people were laughing about it. Yeah.
So laughing at you at first.
Yeah. In the beginning, it was like, no, it didn't make no sense.
Here's the funny part, though. How many followers do you have on TikTok right now?
39,000.
They're not laughing anymore.
No.
But so you just started pumping out content about IULs, talking about the products, the benefits, just.
Right.
Yeah.
It was more about letting them know what a product, like even if you put about mortgage protection, it works.
Yeah.
If you work about final expense, whatever you want to do, but just when I was posting only about recruiting, it wasn't working.
Got it.
Recruiting people were not interested in somebody trying to recruit them.
Right.
But when I started posting about life insurance, and I knew what I was talking about, people were kind of listening, and then people were coming to me, hey, can I work with you? Yeah. And I was kind of like, okay, I got it.
Got it. And then so you at some point you end up making all your content IUL based.
Yes.
And then you start creating leads with this content pretty much.
Right. They started coming in, and then now I still have organic leads. Yeah. But I also do pay for some of the leads.
Yeah, so you run some campaigns, put some money out there.
I run campaigns on Facebook is real easy. Just like people run campaigns on recruiting.
Right.
The same type of thing. You just post an IUL video,
IUL video, so pumping out content. How often are you putting new content on these platforms?
Every day. In all three different ones, at least one video per day.
Yeah. So that's one way. You're also, you said to me, like from the CRM, which type of leads have you, where have you sold most of your IULs, on what type of CRM leads were you using?
So it was mortgage protection.
Yeah.
The ones that basically I started. So just like asking the golden question was one of the main things that when you're inside the home, I wish I would have known what I know now when I was inside the home, because I would have done a better job.
Yeah.
Because truly, if you ask people, hey, what sort of things do you have set up for retirement? And if they say they don't have anything for retirement, man, that's a great opportunity for an IUL right there. I would have.
So the minute you hear that, you know you're going IUL.
I'm going out, but I didn't know much about it. So it was kind of like, I feel like we have that, and we're licensed for all products.
Right.
We got the same. I mean, I don't have a different license than anybody else. It's like we're licensed for IULs, for annuities, for everything. We don't have to have a special course on it.
Right. So let's talk about the virtual. You're virtual, not telesales. Virtual.
100%.
So you're doing now. Zoom or whatever. What is the key? Like, I guess let's go through your sales process a little bit from the virtual standpoint. And is it the same question you're asking? Like, how are you uncovering whether this is a good fit for an IUL?
So most of the people that are coming to me are already looking for an IUL. They're looking basically for retirement, or they're looking for be your own bank, or one of the above. So it's kind of like, so when I ask them, say, hey, how many kids do you have at home? The typical questions, and then say, do you work for yourself or you work for somebody else? I want to know that, because then I know if they're working for themselves, typically they don't have any benefits.
Got it.
And then when they don't have any benefits, then I focus, hey, do you have anything towards your retirement?
Yeah.
And when they say no, then I say, so what was the main thing that you were looking for in IUL? Then I drive them there, and then they say, I'm looking for a better benefit, better retirement. And then is it tax-free very important to you? I say, yes. Everybody's like, yes. I don't want to pay for what I gain.
Right.
I say, okay, that's one of the ways is you can do it through a Roth IRA, but the Roth IRA, you will not be able to touch your money until 59 and a half.
Yeah.
So I says, that's one of the things. And then the other part is you're limited to $6,500 a year. And if you make over $144,000, you do not qualify for a Roth IRA.
Got it.
So it says on an IUL, none of the above. It's like, oh, you can take out the money early on, you can use it, you can do this, and then so people really, really like when they see the numbers.
Yeah. So that's off of an IUL lead. Let's talk about mortgage protection leads and how you're because I think that's the big thing. Like, hey, you can run your own leads, do your deal, but a lot of these guys are like, I'm doing a lot of mortgage protection, I'm doing this stuff, but where are you finding these opportunities to then transition into an IUL? So if you're a mortgage protection client through virtual, walk me through how you're doing that.
So I will basically ask, what sort of things are you have set up for your retirement?
Yeah. So the golden question, right?
The golden question, and then say, do you have anything that works out like a life insurance? So if you found money, it could be an annuity or an IUL, depending on what size and how young they are, and then so if don't have anything towards, or even if I see, another thing that I do is I look at, let's see that I'm going for a final expense, or a mortgage protection. I see people that are sitting with me at 60, but then I see they have grandkids and they have kids. Then I'm gonna talk to them about setting up their kids and their grandkids for something for their future.
Got it.
And when they see, oh my God, when you see an IUL for a kid, is amazing. What they can do. $100 a piece. That's it.
Yeah. I think part of it too is your passion about it, right? So it's like we always look for these sales tricks and like, how are you doing? The big thing is you're passionate about the product. Like even you said to me earlier, like when I found out about an IUL, I was pissed off.
I was pissed.
Why were you pissed?
I bought 4 policies and they were all term life.
Yeah.
And then the agents that I sat down with, I never heard the word IUL or permanent insurance. It was all term life, and I had $1 million, the last one, and they told me that I was all good until 95.
Yeah,
that's what they told me. Wow. I was good until 95. So they lied. Because they basically sold me a 20-year policy.
Right.
So one is expiring in 2 years. the other one expired in 8 years, and the other one's already expired, so I lost all my money. And then like, I could have been putting all this money, and I had a 529 for my daughter.
Yeah.
That I cannot touch the money until she's 25.
Wow, so you had been doing this instead.
So I could have done all that in one place.
Yeah.
And it would have been so much easier. I could have, a ton of money there.
Wow. That's crazy. Now, you had said to me earlier there's been times where, or when you started selling IULs, you were doing a lot of cashback option, and you kind of did this in place of it, right?
Right. The IULE was basically a way for me to learn, okay, well, they get their money back at a certain point, could be 20 years, 25 years, but they'll get the money back, and, they could continue with the policy.
Yeah.
They don't have to give it up. And then so I was like, that's a pretty cool concept. So I started selling a lot of IULE. In fact, that's how I won the trip to London.
Wow. And that's great for like, a lot of times we get these clients where they're looking to cover their mortgage, but they're also concerned with what happens after that, right?
Right.
So that's a great, in lieu of a cashback option where, hey, after this, nothing, how you get your money back, that's cool. But you're saying you're going to get your money because of how it's structured, but then it's also a product that you'll continue to have.
It's a permanent. So I was explaining to people, says, if you want to keep it, you can.
Yeah.
Now you can take money out of the policy.
Yeah.
And then so because this money that you have created, you can actually take money out of there.
Yeah.
But you can still keep the policy if you want to.
Got it.
And then people were like, that's pretty interesting,
Yeah. Now, were you like some IUL expert prior to this? How did you learn all this stuff?
No, I learned IUL probably like within the last, I would say, 1.5 to 2 years.
Yeah.
That was the first time I heard about. That was the time that I was real pissed.
So what did you do to like, how did you get, because now, I'd say you're a specialist, like you said, you're SRS specialist. You sell more IULs than probably anyone at this company. I mean, last year alone, you placed over 1.3 million in premium in force, right? It's not what he got paid. That's what he placed in force from premium standpoint. Right. So a lot of him is being protected. So I guess, how did you get to this point where you're so knowledgeable about it? What did you do to learn all this?
So it was mainly just doing it, talking to people that had more experience than I did.
Yeah.
And the company. The company has a lot of webinars, a lot of trainings. They got a lot of videos, so you can Google or you can YouTube the word IUL. There's a video called IUL for Dummies.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like broken down. So it's kind of like you can learn everything about the IUL. It's not that difficult. Everybody makes it like real complicated.
Yeah.
But an IUL is not that difficult. And then the other thing is you don't have to know everything to sell it. Like,
right.
If you just know the basics, you can.
Yeah. Sometimes
I don't know some other things, and I have sold a bunch.
Right.
Absolutely.
And now you're doing a lot of the National Life Group product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why that one?
It became real easy. It has a very good illustration.
Yeah.
So they're very, very easy to illustrate. They have great living benefits. So it was kind of one of the things that it was easy to tell people about it. They have a chart, like the 3-pie chart.
Yeah.
When you show the report. So they got certain things that makes it real easy. And then you can go directly from their illustration to the iGo app.
Okay.
Right away,
and
without doing anything. And then they also do, I would say 90% of the policies are no blood, no urine.
Yeah.
And they can do up to $3 million.
Wow.
So it was kind of like real easy. IULs takes a little longer.
Yeah.
To get paid.
Issue, yeah.
Yeah. You get so the first 2 months, Mike's role was like, you guys are not placing hardly any business.
But then after a while,
it's coming.
I think as an agent, a lot of times we struggle with how do we explain this to our client, right? Because we're dealing now, even though you didn't know a ton about IULs, you were in the industry, so you understood life insurance, right? Mm-hmm. And then but you're sitting down, say I'm your mortgage protection client, Juan, and you're talking to me about an IUL, but I know nothing about it. Mm-hmm. Talk to me like I'm your client, and you're explaining the concept of this product and how it works.
Yeah, so the IUL is an index universal life. So the I stands for index, which means they're doing an indexing strategy. So when the market goes up, we're actually participating in some of the index, like the S&P 500 is one of the most famous ones. So we're winning out of that index. And then when the market goes down, we actually decide not to participate in it. So we have the floor of zero. So we never will go below that.
Got it.
So that's pretty safe. The U stands for universal, which is a very flexible plan.
Yep.
And the L stands for life, which is the life insurance part of it. And that makes it your money grow tax-free for the future. And then so that is one of the things that I really like. And then so the IUL, the one thing that it has two components. One is to pay for life insurance, which is we're going to minimize that. We're going to try to put the minimum unless you need more.
Yeah.
And then we're going to basically maximize the cash growth. So let's see that we put $1,000 into it. Let's say that $100 goes to life insurance and the other $900 goes to your growth. That growth is growing on an average 6 to 10%.
Got it.
Historically. And then so if we can grow that money over time, that's going to be tax-free when you take it out as a loan.
Got it. Simple.
Pretty simple, and then so.
What type of questions do they normally have? Are they ever confused? I mean, is the tax-free something that is hard for them to grasp, or?
Typically, it's how we never lose any money into it. And then so whenever that comes up, then you have to kind of explain a little bit, which is through options.
Yeah.
And then so I don't get it very complicated. I just say, it's a very simple process because they basically have a way to bet on options for that index in a way that we cannot do it as an individual, but they do as a company.
Got it.
And then on the index, and then so when the market goes down, they choose not to participate in it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so they once they understand that, I think they understand that they cannot lose their money,
right?
But they can gain out of the market.
Yeah. And it's a no-brainer. I mean, at that point, I would assume most clients want it. Like, I don't think there's much of a, debate or a sale that needs to happen. Like, it sells itself.
Typically, after I show it to them, I says, so, do you have anything like this on your portfolio right now? Mm. And majority of people say no.
Right.
And would you like to have something like this on your portfolio?
Yeah.
And everybody say yes. I say, okay. So the next thing is we're going to apply and see if you get approved, because it does take up to 45 days to get approval.
Yeah.
And then once you're approved, then you can change things up.
Yeah.
And then we're going to basically, and I asked them and say, is the $500 or a little less or a little more?
Yeah.
Good for you. That's it.
Got it.
They're like.
It's all, simple.
And I showed them I learned that with Shadi. Basically, I asked them about the budget. So instead of asking them, what's your budget? You say, how much are you willing to put towards your retirement per month?
Yeah.
Minimum and maximum. And then they say $400 minimum, $1,000 maximum. So you can basically show them.
Got it. So you'll show them options within that range, and got it. And what are the major differences from selling this in person versus virtual, if any?
Nothing. If somebody live 3 doors down, and I had to do a presentation, I will do it virtual. I don't want to go ever to their home again. I don't want them to smell me or I smell them.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like they feel more comfortable. They can be in their pajamas.
Yeah.
I'm in my shorts.
Yeah.
Doing my presentation is like they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But I feel like people will give you an appointment quicker if you tell them that it's virtual than a home. You know.
And what about, getting them to trust you, the rapport building? Do you do that any differently? Is there any more of that on the virtual side, or are you still doing that about the same?
Yeah, I will show them my driver license. I will show them basically my state license.
Yeah.
So build up a little bit of trust with that. They have seen my social media already.
Yeah.
They've seen my social media. Then I say, you saw kind of like, oh yeah. So I have pictures of my family. I have things like I'm pretty open.
Yeah.
But if they haven't seen it, then I kind of like try to get their trust a little bit on that.
Got it. So a little more on the trust side, but outside of that, you're keeping it just the same as you would when you're doing illustration. Where you just sharing the screen.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm sharing my screen, and when I do application, I start up, and then instead of me going directly into the Social Security, I usually just go down, ask them all the questions, and then when I get to the driver license, I ask them about their driver license.
Yeah.
And then I go back to the Social Security afterwards.
Got it.
So that way, it's not one of the first questions that I ask.
Gotcha. So they've already answered a bunch, and now they're
now it feels like a real application, not just because if you ask for the Social Security from the start, they're like,
yeah,
why?
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else? Any other tips for anyone who wants to get into IULs, wants to start creating leads on their own, or wants to just increase their production?
I would say just follow people that are doing real well.
Yeah.
You can follow me, Solid Financial Plan.
Solid Financial Plan.
That's basically, you can find me on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, and then Solid Financial Plan. There another guy, Deepo Adesina. Basically, he's a content creator.
Yeah.
So I'm not a content creator. I will say I'm more of a copy creator. But
it works.
But it works.
But they could follow you and copy your stuff and do the same thing.
Right.
And you don't care.
Can copy, and I don't care. Like that. It's the same information in different ways. So it's kind of like if you share it, the more people share it, the better.
Yeah.
I feel like some people feel different.
I know.
If you help enough people get what they want,
good. Yes, you'll get yours.
Get what you
Absolutely. 100%. I know you get this like, well, there'll be saturation if we all do it. Like this, you know how many people live in this country?
I know.
Like, do you understand the amount of
how many kids do we have that we can insure?
Right. Juan's not worried about saturation if you start posting a bunch and getting a bunch of followers or even copying his stuff. You just got to, the key is like with anything, you just have to take action. Mm-hmm. I remember, Sean did a podcast with Damon John at convention. And I remember the part vividly where Damon's like, hey, he's asking his mom, because they grew up in New Jersey, right near the airports. And he grew up, pretty poor, he'll tell you. And he's like, they see these big planes all the time. He looks at his mom and he's like, well, how is that possible, pretty much? Like how, little kid, like how do they make things that big? And his mom's answer, it's perfect. She goes, you know what? It started with one idea and then somebody took action. It's that simple.
That's simple.
And that's all you did here with, it was an idea. And you can go, well, maybe he sold the idea. Okay, who cares? You found the idea. You copied someone's idea, but you took the action. Mm-hmm. And then you took action over and over and over and over again. And in the beginning, they were laughing at you. Mm-hmm. Now they're on here listening and want to know how you did it. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. That's how it works, dude. But awesome stuff, dude. Appreciate you doing this. Absolutely. And guys, I mean, it's like, well, where's the depth? It's simple. There's nothing that deep about this. Mm-hmm. It's just asking the questions. It's being intentional about it. And it's being consistent. Like, what if I ask in my next appointment and I don't get an IUL set? Well, keep asking. Right? Like, keep asking. Right. And we're not saying you needed to be Juan and write IULs to everybody, but this is something you should add to your mix. Yeah, right? If you're like, hey, I love final expenses, great, cool. But have this on your plate as well, because your final expense clients have kids and grandkids that could use IULs.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, I cannot imagine if I was going into the homes right now, again, like I was doing, I would be writing many IULs.
Yeah.
Because it's like I free leads,
right?
Like you get out of these people all free leads.
Absolutely. Or you go to your current client base, your annual. So take a client you sold a mortgage protection policy to last year, and send them some info on an IUL. Mm-hmm. You can create leads with your own clients. Right. There's so many but the key is have an idea and take an action, mm-hmm. and then do it over and over and over again. And when people are laughing at you, telling you shouldn't do something, that's stupid, but just smile and keep doing it. Mm-hmm. When we started. Well, the first year we created this company, everyone laughed at us. You could never give out comp. You're going to go out of business. You can never do that. You can't help the agents that much. And we started doing the bonuses. You guys are going to go out of business if you keep bonusing like that. And like, okay, we'll just, hey, you keep doing you, we'll do us. And now we're at, biggest IMO in the country. But they laughed at us. Now they want to join us.
Yep. And the other thing is like when you have comments on because a lot of people they give up too early.
Yeah.
When you post something, people are gonna the most popular videos are going to be commented, and some of the comments are going to be very ugly.
Right.
And if you focus on those, then you're going to give up.
Yep.
I focus on, like, if I see a lot of comments, I'm so happy. I let them even argue within themselves. I had one that was just like people were fighting against each other about. I was so happy.
Yeah.
Because they're commenting activity. in my video. That's activity, and then so
it just means more people are going to see it.
That's it, and you just don't focus on the positive. That's it.
Absolutely. Well, I love it. We'll end on that. Focus on the positive. Juan, thanks for doing this.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks for watching.